The Premier League is back. 38 rounds of fixtures, 19 home, 19 away, twists, turns, managerial changes, and all out bonkers refereeing decisions. It all starts here. Arsenal versus Coventry. Live audio commentary here on Turton Talks with me, your commentator, Luke Turton. Mikel Arteta comes into this one off the back of the win in the Community Shield, whereas newly promoted Coventry join us in the Premier League for this season under Frank Lampard. Who will have the edge this evening? Well, let's take a look at today's teams, starting with Arsenal. In goal for Arsenal, it's David Raya across the back four. It's Ben White, Christian Mosquera, Gabriel, and Ricardo Calafiori. Midfield of Martin Odegaard, Declan Rice, and Miles Lewis Skelly. And then the right side, we have Bukayo Saka. Left side, Christos Zolis. And up front, it is Kai Havertz. As for Coventry, they line up like this. It's Carl Rushworth in goal. Then we have Milan Van Eyck, Bobby Thomas, Aureli Amenda, and Jada Silva. Frank Onyeka, Caleb Uregi, and Matthew Grimes. Behind Brandon Thomas Asante, Loom Schwaner, and Ellis Sims. So let's take a look then at this game in a little more detail. Arsenal ended their 22-year wait for a Premier League title when they finished 7 points clear of Manchester City last season. The Gunners have regrouped from their UEFA Champions League final loss to PSG and made two statements of intent over the summer, signing Bruno Guimaraes before thrashing City 3-0 in last week's Community Shield. If they can win a fifth successive matchday one game for only time in their league history, Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta will become just the fifth manager of the Premier League era to bring up 150 league wins in fewer than 250 games. And an all-time competition record 45 match unbeaten home run against newly promoted teams underlines just how likely this is to be a historic season opener. However, having stormed to the championship title last season, Coventry will set a new competition record when they play a top flight game 25 years after their last one, the longest standing gap in the history of the Premier League. The Sky Blues have certainly not been afraid to invest in their survival, breaking their record transfer fee 4 times this summer alone. Boss Frank Lampard is gearing up for his fourth managerial stint in the Premier League, but a slow start could be inevitable given not only their opposition, but the fact that Coventry last won their first league match of the season back in 2021-2022. Coventry won have won just one of their last 14 top flight head-to-heads. I believe the last took place in 2001. The Sky Blues have lost their only two competitive visits to the Emirates by a 10-1 combined scoreline. Arsenal have won all three of their season opening Premier League games as champions, twice beating promoted teams. Arsenal ended last season by keeping 5 successive home clean sheets. Just two of Coventry's last 7 away games saw both teams score. Coventry have lost their last 7 away league games against the reigning top flight champions. Key players to watch and missing players. Arsenal's Victor Gyökeres could be in line for a start against his old side. Well, he's not because Kai Havertz is starting. He has scored 6 times in 5 league matches against promoted teams last term, 4 of which came in his 2 such starts at the Emirates. Coventry's Ellis Sims ended last season with a hat-trick and netted in both of his pre-season games, with his only Premier League goal coming away at Arsenal's London rivals Chelsea. Arsenal defenders William Saliba and Urian Timber are both sidelined long term, while Coventry look to bolster a clean bill of health. Well, again, I can tell you that that bit is also slightly incorrect as well. So let's go through again what it looks like. I'll give you the missing players. Bruno Guimaraes has got a thigh injury. William Saliba has a back injury. Urian Timber has an ankle injury. We are missing Luke Wolfenden. He has an injury, not quite doesn't specify what. And Haji Wright has a muscle injury. So there are 2 injury missing players for um, Coventry today. And I'll run you through the sides again. David Raya in goal, Ben White, Christian Mosquera, Gabriel, and Ricardo Calafiori across the back. Martin Odegaard, Declan Rice, and Miles Lewis Skelly. And then we have Bukayo Saka, Kai Havertz, and Christos Solis. For Coventry, we have Carl Rushworth in goal, Milan Van Eyck, Bobby Thomas, Arile Amenda, and Jade De Silva across the back four. Fred Onyeka, Caleb Urenki, and Matt Grimes. And then Brandon Thomas Asante, Ellis Sims, and Loom Schwana. On the bench for Arsenal, we have Kepa Arrizabalaga, Matt Dalman, Eberici Eze, Victor Yokeresh, Piero Hincape, Noni Madueke, Mikel Marino, Ethan Wanyeri, and Martin Zubimendi. Whereas for Coventry, we have Taiwo Owanyi, Josh Eccles, Gustavo Heimer, Liam Kitchen, Joel Latabodiere, Jack Rodoni, Sakamoto, Victor Torp, and goalkeeper Ben Wilson is the options for Coventry. There is no Sharif Siddiqui or Dan Bentley today. They have not made a squad. And also, there's no place for the recently signed Ezri Konsa for Arsenal. He wasn't registered in time to play, so they go without him. Arsenal again, are they favourites? Listen, welcome in, strong woman. No, this just is what the opening game of the Premier League season is. It's Arsenal Coventry tonight. So that is the one I am covering. But yes, it is Arsenal again. I would say that they are the favourites for this game tonight, strong woman. So you could be onto something there. But no, I don't. I don't think that they are. They're not going to be the favourites for the whole season. I'm going to cover a range of different clubs this time around. I'm just going to hide my logo so we can see that ticker in the corner there. As we now just looking through the Coventry side, which is getting named again, I shall give you the officiating team. The referee today is Tom Bramall. Assistant referees of Gary Beswick and Matt Wilkes. The fourth official is Adam Herzek. Video assistant referee is Jared Gillett. We're in the Premier League, so we'll have VAR to look forward to. And the assistant VAR is Neil Davis. So it's important to note that it's Tom Bramall, the referee, and the VAR is Jared Gillett. My prediction from last game was pretty accurate, so for Wednesday, we'll see. Well, I quite like a lot of those goals to go in strong woman, so we'll take that. We definitely will take that one. We'll see how that goes as Arteta and Lampard shake hands before the game here at the Emirates Stadium in North London. My prediction for this one will be 2-0. Substitutions, they have 10 seconds to get off. If they leave it to the conceded, they have to go. A player has to go off. If the game is stopped for a goalkeeper injury, an outfield player must leave the field. Rule excludes where a goalkeeper has been fouled or involved in a collision. Referees can apply a 5-second countdown to prevent delays of restarts for goal kicks and throw-ins. Referee will determine when the countdown begins. Well, that's a shock. If the delay continues after countdown, possession awarded to the opposition. So they are the rule changes for today and for the whole season. I'm sure we'll get pretty used to those as we progress through. But we are at the reigning champions of the Premier League this evening in Arsenal. And I have also got a new scoreboard this evening as well. If a goal does go in, you shall see it flash across the top of the screen on the scoreboard with the colour of the opposition. I decided to give my scoreboard a bit of an upgrade for the new season. And I think I have to get their Premier League season underway in just a couple of moments here with Matt Grimes, who gets us underway as of right now. And the ball gets lumped forward up towards where Gabriel is. He heads it out. He's followed there as Frank Onyeka. And Onyeka turns. And good run this time by Schwana. Schwana down this far side. Tries to get past Gabriel. And it's gone out to play for an early Coventry corner. They are pinning back the reigning champions so far in this one by taking the early corner. which shall be taken on that far side by, I believe it's probably going to be Matt Grimes over on that side. Ellis Sims is in there. The number 24, Amida, has also gone up there. As the ball's now whipped into the box and it's flicked up in the air by Calafiori, but not away. And then it's flicked head away further by Calafiori now. And it's taken down by Shawana, battling there with Odegaard. It comes free to Calafiori now into Rice. Rice. He plays it wide to the far side now to Zolis. Zolis further inside to Lewis Skelly and then back to Calafiori. Calafiori now down the near side to Mosquera. Mosquera turns. He then gives it across to Gabriel. Gabriel. He then turns it to Lewis Skelly and Lewis Skelly now back to Gabriel. Gabriel. He gives it down to Mosquera. And Mosquera now passes it to this near side to Ben White. White now on this near right hand side, back inside to Mosquera, and Mosquera now to Declan Rice. Rice. He then plays it to Mosquera. Mosquera turns, plays it back across to Declan Rice, who can now carry the ball forward and plays it out to Zolis. Zolis goes scampering forward, then turns, cuts inside and plays it across to White. White now back to Mosquera. Mosquera back inside his own half, plays it back across to Ben White. And he now gives it down the near side to Bukayo Saka. Saka now goes back to Ben White, and White across to Declan Rice. Declan Rice now turns and gives it to Ben White, and White now to Odegaard. Odegaard, he then gives it inside to Declan Rice, and Declan Rice now scampers and plays it across to Gabriel. Gabriel now to Calafiori. Calafiori inside to Miles Lewis-Skelly, but it's intercepted, and Onyeka can now try and play that over the top, looking towards Ellis Sims, who's bounced down to this near side now to Schwana. Loom Schwana, number 23. Actually, that's Brandon Thomas Sante. He gives it back to De Silva, and De Silva now to Grimes. Grimes now gives it back inside to Amenda. He goes back to Carl Rushworth, the goalkeeper, who clears long, upfield, looking towards Ellis Sims, who's flicked it on, out towards that far side towards Schwana, but it's won back there by Lewis Skelly. Lewis Skelly turns and now can bring the ball back the other way and gives it to Odegaard. Odegaard, he goes back now to Gabriel, and Gabriel now to Christian Mosquera. Mosquera, he then plays it to Odegaard. Odegaard in the middle of his own half turns and then gives it back to Gabriel. Gabriel looks up, can't find anybody, so then gives it to Lewis Skelly. Lewis Skelly now goes scampering forward and then plays it to this near side to White. White. He looks up and turns it back inside to Mosquera. Mosquera now across to Lewis Skelly. And Lewis Skelly now has the ball and plays it across to Christian Mosquera. Mosquera then dinks it over the top there looking for Kai Havertz, but it's won by Bobby Thomas and then out to Van Eyck. He's on the far side. He comes scampering forward and then plays it inside to Grimes. Grimes now goes back to Bobby Thomas and Thomas across to Rushworth. Rushworth's outside of his penalty area here, controls it and then plays it back across to Bobby Thomas. And Bobby Thomas now carrying the ball forward and he plays it back across to Carl Rushworth. And Rushworth now looks up and clears the ball long over the top, looking towards Loom Schwana. Inside now to Urenki. Now back to Schwana, then back to Urenki. Now it's with Thomas and out to Schwana. Now back inside to Grimes. Grimes now whips the ball across this near side, towards the Silva, inset by Saka, and it's now with Odegaard. Odegaard goes scampering forward, does the Norwegian, over halfway, and then gives it out to Zolis. Zolis now, over on that far side, goes charging towards the box, inside the box, cuts inside, hits the shot, and that's way over the bar. First early chance there for Christos Zolis at the Emirates. Good cut inside of Van Eyck, and couldn't quite get the ball into that top corner, and it just evades and goes into the fans in the stand behind that Carl Rushworth's goal. But a good early chance there to get inside his man, and it'd probably be a bit disappointed with the quality there with the Greek international Christos Zolis. Led along by Rushworth, and flicked on there by Ellis Sims. Gabriel heads forward and Saka clears over the top. Won there by Amida. Amenda, but Saka's coming forward the other way. Saka cuts inside, tries to hit the shot, blocked there by Jada Silva, and then Frank Onyeka steals it away here. Onyeka plays it inside, but it's given away to Christian Mosquera, and Mosquera now to Gabriel. Gabriel plays it wide to Calafiori, and Calafiori now inside to Miles Lewis Skelly. Lewis Skelly now to Declan Rice. Rice turns it to Saka. Saka can have another go now, trying to get around his man. Cuts inside, then plays it inside to Declan Rice, and Rice now to Lewis Skelly. Lewis Skelly back to Declan Rice, then he plays it wide to Erdegaard. Erdegaard cuts inside, plays it back now to Lewis Skelly, and Lewis Skelly turns and plays it back to Rice. Rice now down the near side to White. White back inside to Rice, and Rice now further across to Lewis Skelly. Lewis Skelly back to Rice, and Rice now plays the ball round the corner there, looking for Solis, who pulls the ball across to Saka. Saka hits a shot, and that's gone behind for a corner off of Arminda. And that's going to be the first chance for Arsenal to have a set piece over on this near side. As Declan Rice slid the ball down to Christos Solis, who pulled it across to Saka, who hits the shot, and it bounces off of Amenda and out of play for a corner to Coventry. To Arsenal, sorry. Arsenal with the corner, and that should be taken there on this near side by Saka. On this near side, he gets ready to take this and plays it inside now to I think that was towards Lewis Skelly. Now to White, who pulls it across back there to Havertz, but it's blocked, and it comes out now to Brandon Thomas Asante. Asante over on that far side, trying to get past Gabriel, and he's got blocked off there by Solis. Solis tries to play it through towards Havertz, so pinning for handball, nothing doing. So Bobby Thomas tries to go over the top. Too much on that. It's got out to play for a throw, of which will be to Arsenal on that far side from Bobby Thomas, trying to play it towards Ellis Sims. We just await the balls now with Jada Silva. And Jada Silva has seen that one go out of play. As we now look again at ref cam of this shot, it was actually blocked on the line there by Bobby Thomas from Christos Zolis a few moments ago. And Solis is now coming charging down that far side. Still going against Solis towards the edge of the box. Still going. Now plays it wider to Havertz. Now to Solis again. Solis now goes back to Declan Rice. He hits a shot. And again, that's way over the bar here. And out of play for a goal kick to Coventry and Carl Rushworth. And we're still waiting for this goal kick to be taken here. So, and it's now cleared long out towards Brandon Thomas Asante. White's there, heads it forward. He said they're going to come down as far as Grimes. Grimes over the top, looking towards Ellis Sims. Can't quite get there, and then Mosquera sees that out of play for a goal kick, for a throw on this near side, sorry. Right. And it's now with Bobby Thomas. Bobby Thomas plays it wider to Van Wyk. Van Wyk now plays it back to Bobby Thomas. And he now gives it back to Rushworth. Rushworth now to Amenda. Amenda. He clears the ball long over top, looking towards the Thomas Asante, but it's got all the way through to Raya. David Raya now plays it out to Declan Rice. Declan Rice goes scampering forward. Now to Erdegaard. Erdegaard. Further wider now to Saka. Saka towards the edge of the box, cuts inside, then plays it just over the top, and that's going to go out for another corner on this near side off of Jada Silva. The second quarter inside 10 minutes here for Arsenal. Bukayo Saka tried to cut inside there, but Jada Silva matched him pace for pace there and managed to block the cross before it could reach Kai Havertz. Corner taken on this near side by Saka into the box. Rushworth grabs it. Good take this from Carl Rushworth. He's looking up. He's trying to get the ball clear. He's actually going to wait till everybody else has cleared the area, cleared the scene, and is then going to clear this one long upfield, up towards Thomas Asante. That's actually going to be Yarenki. Actually, number 18's gone down there, Loom Schwaner, and that's going to be a free kick to Coventry inside the Arsenal half, just over halfway, which will be taken by Grimes, and then played it down this near side to Jada Silva. De Silva. He then plays it back now to Amenda, and Amenda now turns, and he gives it to Grimes. Grimes goes back to Amenda, and then goes back to Grimes. Grimes now plays it back down this near side to Amenda. It's now with Rushworth. Rushworth now looks up and clears this one long over the top, up towards Ellis Sims. He's now battling there with Gabriel and manages to play that out to this far side to Schwaner. Schwaner. He's having a long range shot, blocked by Gabriel. It's now with Grimes to Yarenki. Yarenki, he goes back to Grimes and then plays it back to this near side to Amenda. Amenda. He then gives it to this near side to De Silva, and De Silva now goes back to Amenda. Amenda, over halfway, sprays it out to that far side to Van Dijk. He then plays it inside to Schwaner, and Schwaner now goes back to Grimes. Grimes then plays it back to Schwaner. It's now gone all the way back to Bobby Thomas, and Bobby Thomas now to Amenda. Amenda, he looks up and he plays it back now to Thomas. Bobby Thomas, then carrying the ball forward, then turns and gives it inside to Carl Rushworth. Rushworth now towards the edge, towards just outside his box, clears it wider. It's that far side looking to Van Dijk, but Solis now forward, looking towards Havertz, but it's going to have to play there for a throw to Coventry over on that far side. Good start this from Coventry. They're looking very composed so far. They're not making it easy for Arsenal. And Milan Van Dijk will launch this one long over the top, looking there towards Thomas Asante. It's flicked on now to Ellis Sims. He's having his shirt pulled, but it's going to be a free kick the other way against against Ellis Sims for a foul on Gabriel. Frank Lampard can be pretty pleased with what he's seen so far, but Mosquera has this now, and he's going to play inside to Lewis Skelly. Lewis Skelly has the ball inside halfway and then gives it to Declan Rice. Declan Rice and Lewis Skelly exchange passes again here, and now it's back with Mosquera. Mosquera to White, and White now turns. He gives it back to Mosquera. Mosquera, he's charging forward, and then plays it back sideways to Ben White, and White now clears the ball over the top. They're looking towards Zolis. Zolis further inside. He's battling there with Van Dijk. Can't quite get through. He's managed to win it back. And Calafiori now turns. Plays back to Havertz. And Arsenal take the lead. And Kai Havertz has scored. And that's the first goal of the Premier League season. And it goes to Kai Havertz. So if you just give me 2 seconds here. 29. Kai Havertz. And we have a goal for Arsenal. And it is Kai Havertz. That's inside the first 15 minutes there. Kai Havertz scores for Arsenal on a pullback from Ricardo Calafiori. Good play that from Zolis, and Calafiori's pulled back and then side-footed into the bottom corner there by Kai Havertz. And we have our first goal of the day, and it goes to Kai Havertz. Right, let's look customize. So Arsenal take the lead inside 15 minutes, and Coventry's work of holding them out for 15 minutes was put to bed, and it's now gone back to Bobby Thomas. Bobby Thomas, he goes back now to Rushworth. Rushworth looks up, clears it long, over the top, looking there for the run of Ellis Sims, which is going to go all the way through to David Raya. And David Raya now to Rice. Rice to Lewis Skelly. He gets pulled down by Urenshi, and that's going to be a free kick inside the centre circle, inside the Arsenal half, which will be taken by Miles Lewis Skelly. And he's then going to see this. I'm assuming he's going to play this one wide. No, he's going to go to Declan Rice. Rice now. He plays it to White. And White now over the top, looking there for the run of Saka. It bounces over his head. He can then take this one down, can Bukayo Saka. And then plays one back to Ben White. White now slides the ball in towards Lewis Skelly. Back to Declan Rice. Goes all the way back now to Zolis. Zolis to Declan Rice. He then digs the ball over the top. It's pulled across there by Havertz to Calafiori. And then Havertz leaves this one. I think he'd have been offside. He's going to have to play there for a throw to Van Dijk, to be taken on that far side, the Coventry right. Van Dijk then forward to Sims, and that's gone out to play for a Arsenal throw, which will be left to Riccardo Calafiori. Calafiori then throws this one back to Gabriel, and Gabriel now to Rice. Rice. Then forward again to Gabriel, and Gabriel now to Lewis Skelly. He goes back to Declan Rice, and Declan Rice now to Mosquera. Mosquera to White. White now forward to Saka, and Saka then back to Ben White. White looks up, and then plays it back across to Lewis Skelly. Lewis Skelly, he slides it across to Gabriel, and Gabriel leaves it now to Calafiori. Calafiori further across to Declan Rice, who twists, turns, and gives it now to Lewis Skelly. Lewis Skelly, now down to Mosquera. Mosquera, now to White. White forward to Lewis Skelly. Good turn. Plays it now forward to Zolis and Odegaard. Odegaard tries to slide around the corner towards Havertz, but that's claimed by Cole Rushworth. And Coventry should now be able to come back the other way. Rushworth still has hold of it and drops it. And then clears this one long over the top there, looking for Thomas Asante, who flicks it on towards Ellis Sims. Ellis Sims couldn't quite get through Gabriel. He looks a bit kind of shocked that Gabriel's gone down here, bashing the turf. This will be a worry for Arsenal fans, seeing Gabriel clutching his knee and rolling around in agony. So let's have a look at this again here. Oh, it's actually stood on his foot. Ellis Sims has stood on Gabriel's foot. That would be painful. At full speed, Ellis Sims steps on Gabriel and leaves the Brazilian defender lying strewed on the floor. Gabriel is still hobbling here. He does not look at all satisfied, does the Brazilian, but hopefully he can run this one off. He's having a conversation now with the referee, Tom Bramall. But I believe it's going to be a free kick to Arsenal anyway, which David Raya will take in just a second. Lewis Skelly's having a wave. You don't quite know what he's waving at here, but David Raya is going to play this one to Mosquera. Mosquera, he looks up and then plays it back to David Raya. Raya now scanning the scene. Can he get it to an extra body somewhere else? Raya still got it and then plays it back to Christian Mosquera. Mosquera now turns and then plays it back across to David Raya. Raya now across to Mosquera, and now across to Gabriel. Gabriel across again to Lewis Skelly, and Lewis Skelly now to Rice. Rice. Back to Gabriel, and Gabriel down this near side to Calafiori. Calafiori cuts inside. That's actually Solis, sorry, that's cutting inside. It's now with Rice. Rice this near side to Saka, and Saka comes charging forward, trying to get past Jada Silva, then plays it inside to Ben White, further across to Erdegaard. Erdegaard back to Lewis Skelly, and then it's down to Calafiori. Round the corner towards Havertz, but Bobby Thomas is there and goes down. And it's adjudged that Havertz has shoved Bobby Thomas, and that is going to be a free kick to Coventry inside their own half. Arteta's currently having a word with some of his coaching staff here, as Havertz has just thrown the ball back to Carl Rushworth, ready to take this set piece over on the far side. But Arteta is currently not amused by something. He's deep in discussions with one of his coaches there. Gabriel Hines, it looks like he's in deep conversation with. But Carl Rushworth is going to clear this one long upfield now, up towards Ellis Sims, who heads this inside towards Onyeka, but it's one back there by Declan Rice. Rice can go charging forward and gives it across to Erdegaard. Erdegaard now back through to Declan Rice, who's going to charge towards the edge of the box, still going, and lays it off to Solis, who pulls the ball across. It's shoved behind in, and it's Bukayo Saka, and we have our second goal, and it's Bukayo Saka who had scored for Arsenal here. And Arsenal have their second, and it's a goal for Bukayo Saka. Carl Rushworth didn't quite get hold of that one and pushed it straight into the path of Bukayo Saka. And it is now Arsenal 2, Coventry 0 inside the first 22 minutes here. And not a very happy return to the Premier League for Coventry City on opening night here at the Emirates. It's Arsenal 2, Coventry 0, and that's the first probably assist for Christos Zolis as it was slid across, and Carl Rushworth tried to get a hand to it, but pushed it straight into the path of Bukayo Saka, who stroked the ball into the bottom corner, into more or less the empty net. There was Jada Silva there that could probably have blocked it, but in the end, nothing could be doing for Coventry, and it's a mountain to climb now for the newly promoted side. They are finding it very difficult here at the Emirates. So we've kicked off again here, and the ball is with Gabriel. As now we have goals for both Havertz and Saka in the Premier League. They are up and running. It's now with Christian Mosquera. Mosquera gives it to Rice. Rice now plays it down the near side to Ben White. White pulls it back to Declan Rice. Declan Rice now to Lewis Skelly, giving away to Grimes, then giving back away to Lewis Skelly, but Onyeka's battling for it. But Odegaard can play this back now to Rice, and Rice to Mosquera. Mosquera back to Rice. Declan Rice now to Ben White, and White back to Rice. Rice. He now plays it across to Mosquera, and Mosquera looks up, plays it to Declan Rice, and it's now still with the Englishman. He gives it back across to Mosquera. Mosquera now inside to Lewis Skelly, and he turns and gives it to Declan Rice. Rice now looks up and slides the ball over the top, looking there for the run of White, battling for it, goes down, nothing doing, and in the end, it's gone out of play for a throw to Coventry, which shall be taken by Jada Silva. Jada Silva is still with this now and throws it inside towards Amenda. He's got all the way forward, but Gabriel's headed back the other way. Then headed forward again by Jada Silva, and Rice now has it. Onyeka heads forward towards Asante. Asante goes down. That's going to be a free kick for a pull down by Ben White on Asante, and Coventry will have the free kick. 25 minutes gone. Arsenal 2, Coventry 0 here at the Emirates. If you are watching on YouTube and are new, don't forget to drop me a subscribe and a like on the video. And if you are on Twitch and are new, don't forget to drop me a follow. It would be greatly appreciated. And it's now with Amenda. Amenda clears this one long over the top, looking there for Ellis Sims, but head forward to Mascara. Now with Amenda again, got all the way through, and it's got all the way through, and Gabriel can clear this now to Zolis. Zolis turns and gives it down to Lewis Skelly, who turns away from Ellis Sims and keeps hold of it. Good play this from Lewis Skelly. And he now plays it to Rice. Rice down the line to Havertz. Havertz now further inside to Erdegaard. Erdegaard tries to slide it past Asante. He's gone back the other way to Lewis Skelly. And Llorente loses out to Lewis Skelly, then pushes him over. And that's going to be a free kick to Arsenal. And the first yellow card of the Premier League season is given to Caleb Llorente. That's Caleb Llorente. He's got the first yellow card of the Premier League season as he pushed over Miles Lewis Skelly. So that's going to be a yellow card for Caleb Llorente. The Ghanaian, new signing for Coventry. He collects the first yellow card. And the free kick shall be taken here by Martin Erdegaard. Arsenal chasing a third in this first half, as we have nearly played half an hour here at the Emirates. And Erdegaard slides across to the far side to Zolis. Zolis round the corner to Havertz. Havertz can't quite get past Matt Grimes without pushing him over. So that's going to be a free kick given by Tom Bramall to Coventry. And that's just inside their own area for Coventry. So I'd be assuming that Carl Rushworth will take this one. And in just a second here, Carl Rushworth will launch this one long. And Llorente now flicks this on. Looking towards Ellis Sims. Now to Onyeka. Over the top. Calafiori then heads forward. Now to Rice. Rice to Erdegaard. Erdegaard now to Lewis Skelly. Over the top. It's headed forward again there. But again, taken down by Shawana to Llorente. Back out to Shawana. Shawana trying to get away from Calafiori. Can't do so. So it goes back to Llorente. Back to Shawana. And it's now gone all the way back to Van Dijk. Van Dijk now forward to Grimes, wider to Shawana, and giving away there to Solis. Solis inside to Havertz, quickly moves this on to Erdegaard. Erdegaard turns, then carries the ball forward, goes round on Yeka, but given away there to Llorente, who goes all the way back to Carl Rushworth. Rushworth clears long, forward, over top, looking towards Ellis Sims. It's then flicked back forward there to Erdegaard, and then Lewis Skelly, but won back by Shawana. Shawana now has got Onyeka forward, but again forward again to Thomas Asante. Thomas Asante, but Mosquera steps in. And start with Bukayo Saka, who gets pulled down there by Loom Shawana. And that should be a free kick to Arsenal on this near side, the Arsenal right. Taken quickly by Mosquera to Gabriel. Now further wide to Zolis. Zolis goes scampering forward towards the edge of the area here to Solis. Cuts inside, pulls it back to Calafiori. Now to Lewis Skelly to Erdegaard. Erdegaard tries to dink it through towards Havertz, was cleared away there by Amenda. Only as far as Gabriel, but it's just a bit of an offside there. So it's going to be a free kick to Coventry. Inside their own area, which should be taken again by Carl Rushworth. Once he's retrieved the ball, we shall get this one back underway with the set piece. And all of Coventry's players are going to go up over halfway. And number 19, Carl Rushworth, will get ready to clear this one long upfield. Getting ready to clear this one long, and does so up towards Ben White, who's now cleared this one forward. It's headed forward again by Grimes. Now with Shawana, but it's intercepted by Gabriel. And David Rice come all the way across this near side. Claim it. And then clears wider to Calafiori. Calafiori Now plays it inside to Lewis Skelly. Lewis Skelly now looks around and then plays it to Mascara. Mascara, not seeing much movement from Arsenal, so gets it back to Lewis Skelly and now forward to Rice. Rice wider to Christos Zolis. Zolis goes scampering forward, then pulls it back to Declan Rice. Declan Rice now digs the ball over the top, looking towards Saka, but it's head up in the air by Asante, only as far as White. White's in now to Erdegaard. Erdegaard turns, then plays it to Lewis Skelly, and Lewis Skelly now wider again to Ben White. White now inside further to Havertz, now back to White. White now inside to Erdegaard. Erdegaard turns, then gives it back to Havertz. Havertz now across to Rice, and Rice now down this near side to Saka. Saka cuts inside, then plays it across to Declan Rice. Rice now forward to Erdegaard, and Erdegaard to White. White to Saka. Saka cuts inside, then plays it back to Lewis Skelly, now to Erdegaard. Erdegaard down the near side to White. White then plays it back to Erdegaard, and Erdegaard now cuts inside and plays it across to Gabriel. Gabriel now across to Calafiori. Calafiori looks up, plays it now to Christian Mascara. Mascara to Gabriel. Gabriel looks up, plays it across again to Mascara, and Mascara now to Declan Rice. Rice now forward to Saka. Saka again to Rice. Rice then goes back to Mascara, and Mascara now to Declan Rice. Rice now goes round the corner to Lewis Skelly. It goes back to Mascara, and Mascara now back to Rice. Rice, he slides it down the line to Erdegaard. Erdegaard now to Declan Rice, and Rice goes back to Erdegaard. Erdegaard, he then goes wider still to Mascara. Mascara now to Solis, and Solis to Gabriel. Gabriel, he's played back inside to Mascara, and Mascara now to Lewis Skelly. Lewis Skelly goes back to Gabriel, and Gabriel wide to Calafiori. Calafiori now to Lewis Skelly. Lewis Skelly then plays the ball wide to this near side to Bukayo Saka. Saka, he's going to try and get past to Silva. Saka, charging towards the edge of the box. Plays it now back to Erdegaard. Erdegaard inside to White. White shot blocked. Then cleared away there by Amenda. Only as far as Mascara to Rice. Rice now. Back wider to White. Ben White whips the ball across, but that's going to be deflected up in the air and straight into the hands of Carl Rushworth. He now comes scampering out and balls it over the top. They're looking towards Asante. Thomas Asante now has it. Looks up, plays it around the corner towards the run there of Ellis Sims. Sims towards the edge of the box. Now turns, trying to get past Gabriel. He then goes down, and that's going to be a free kick to Coventry for a foul by Gabriel just outside the area. And I think that's a yellow card for Gabriel. So that's a second yellow card of the game here. And Gabriel collects his first yellow card of the season as well now, for a foul on Ellis Sims. I'm not quite sure it was justifiable to give a yellow card on that occasion, but Thomas Bramall disagrees. And we have the yellow card for Gabriel. And the free kick's going to be taken on this near side by Matt Grimes, which will be an out swinger into the area in just a moment, as we tick up towards 35 minutes. And Grimes then dinks his ball into the box. It's headed up in the air by Mascara and out by Erdegaard to Zolis towards Havertz. Havertz, but it's won back there by Onyeka. And Onyeka now goes back to Rushworth, who can clear long again over the top. Headed up there by Ben White, only as far as Zolis. Now with Gabriel to Lewis Skelly. Lewis Skelly then slides it forward to Havertz. And he bounces it wider towards Zolis again. Zolis then goes down under the foul of Van Dijk. And that's going to be a free kick to Arsenal for a foul on Christos Zolis. 35 minutes gone. Arsenal 2, Coventry 0. In the Premier League Week 1, game match day 1. And it is literally game 1 of the Premier League. Good half this so far from Arsenal. They've capitalised on the chances that were given to them by Coventry. Coventry looked okay for the first 15 minutes. They've had a shaky spell after that. They've tried to get a bit more composure again, but really, they've not really got much to hold up for play up front. They might want to look at Taiwo in the second half. Taiwo Wonyi, to try and hold the ball up a little bit more. But so far, Arsenal definitely have the control. And it's now Odegaard to Rice. Rice now to White. White goes further down this near side to Bukayo Saka. Saka tries to go round Ellis Sims. Then does go round Ellis Sims. Stumbles, but then gets back up again. And that in the end is going to go out of play there for a corner, I believe, off of Ellis Sims. Good play that from Saka to go round his man. And then as he tried to get up and play it across, it was deflected actually off on Mender. And that's going to be a corner to Arsenal. Bukayo Saka to take on this near side. The third corner from this side, which Bukayo Saka will take as he steps back. Waiting for Thomas Bramwell to be ready. The players then move into the area. It's whipped in by Saka. It's flicked down. And then Asante has to come back. No, Schwan has to try and get there, but it's now back with Saka. Saka to Odegaard. Odegaard whips the ball in towards the back post. Headed out there by Bobby Thomas. Zolis now gets to it. Zolis over on that far side. Cuts back. Tries to get around his man. Then plays the ball across. Havertz flicks on. It comes back now to Lewis Skelly, but won there by Schwana. Now only finds Rice. Out towards Zolis again. Zolis into the box. Turns. Good turn. Pulls it back towards Odegaard. Calafiori gets in the way. Shot blocked. Cleared away there. Only as far as Lewis Skelly. Lewis Skelly then wider again to Zolis. Zolis now into the box. Good play. Deflected out there by Grimes. And then won by Asante. Asante goes down under the foul from Declan Rice. And that's going to be a free kick to Coventry. Whew. What a period that was. Declan Rice is going nuts. He's not happy with something there. And he was telling somebody about it. But Calafiori with a shot there. And it was blocked by Van Dijk. Couldn't really do anything about that. His hands were in a natural position. Not quite sure that it would ever want a penalty given for that. So the free kick now with Carl Rushworth over the top. Too much on that. That's going to go all the way through to David Raya. And David Raya now out to Gabriel. Gabriel to Lewis Skelly. Lewis Skelly turns and gives it across to Mosquera. Mosquera and plays it across to Lewis Skelly. And Lewis Skelly now carries it forward and plays it to Rice. Rice now to Mosquera. Mosquera charging forward. And then plays it back across to Lewis Skelly. Lewis Skelly turns and plays down this near side to Mosquera. Mosquera now to Lewis Skelly. And Lewis Skelly turns and gives this one across to Gabriel. Gabriel looks up, plays it back across to Lewis Skelly. And Lewis Skelly down this near side to Christian Mosquera. Mosquera now to Saka. Saka cuts inside and gives it back now to Mosquera. And Mosquera to Lewis Skelly. Lewis Skelly charging forward over halfway. Then gives it to Declan Rice. Declan Rice now inside to Odegaard. And Odegaard gives it back to Havertz. Havertz on halfway. He's come very deep here, has a German. And then plays it back to Mosquera. Mosquera now across to Gabriel. And Gabriel over the top there, looking towards Solis. But it's now with Urenchi. Urenchi coming forward the other way. Looks up. Plays it wider now to Schwana. Schwana. Now back to Van Dijk. Back to Schwana. Now goes all the way back to Bobby Thomas. Bobby Thomas plays it across to Amenda. Amenda turns back across to Bobby Thomas. And Thomas now looks up and clears one over the top towards Ellis Sims. It's taken down by Calafiori, but it's got to play anyway. And it's going to be a throw over on that far side for Ricardo Calafiori. Calafiori's going to get ready to take this one in just a second. Launches it long, inside to Havertz, over top of Havertz. Bobby Thomas can clear this one back to Rushworth. Rushworth. There's it out to play to Van Dijk. Van Dijk turns. Good run this by Van Dijk. Still going, still going, still going. And then plays it wider to Schwaner. Now to Grimes. Grimes, he turns. And that gives that one back to Thomas. Thomas now. He goes wider again to Grimes. Grimes turns. Wider to Schwaner. And Schwaner now goes back to Grimes. Grimes into the midfield now to Onyeka. And Onyeka turns. And turns again and gives it to Amenda. Amenda then wide to this near side with Asante. Asante inside the Arsenal half, gives it now to De Silva. Round the corner again to Asante, who turns, plays it inside to Willis Sims. He gives it back to Schwaner. Schwaner turns and then gives it wide to the far side to Van Dijk. Van Dijk turns and gives it back now to Schwaner. Schwaner now gives it inside to Onyeka. Onyeka goes across to De Silva. De Silva whips the ball into the box. Headed out there by Zolis. Only far there is Bobby Thomas. To Schwaner over the top and over the bar. It was an overhead kick that was trying to go towards the top corner there from Loom Schwaner. But it's just gone over the bar. And that'll be a goal kick to David Raya. Let's go, strong woman. It was dipping, that shot from Schwaner, but there just wasn't enough dip on it to trouble David Raya. And we are now 3 minutes away from added time and half time. David Raya clears long up towards Havertz, who flicks on. And it's going to go all the way through to Carl Rushworth. Yeah, and the ball drops there to the feet there of Carl Rushworth. And he clears it long upfield to Sims. Sims then can't quite get it through Gabriel. It's gone to Mosquera. Mosquera, wide to White. White now again to Mosquera. Mosquera forward to Lewis Skelly. Back to Mosquera. And it's now with White. White looks and plays it back inside to Lewis Skelly. And Lewis Skelly now to Gabriel. Gabriel charging forward here. Gives it wider to Zolis. Zolis looks up. Then plays it across to Lewis Skelly. Lewis Skelly now to Declan Rice. And Declan Rice goes across the field there and then pulls it back across to this near side to Ben White. White turns further down now to Saka. Saka cuts inside, still has it to Saka, pulls it back now to Rice. Rice into the box. It's headed out there as far as Schwaner. Schwaner around the corner to Sims. Sims has tried to play it back wide to Schwaner, who goes flying forward. Still going. He's got Urenchi now ahead of him. He goes back to him, Van Dijk, sorry, instead. Now to Grimes over the top. And that's going to bounce all the way through to David Raya. And the excitement for Coventry fans ends. It's now with Gabriel to Mosquera. Mosquera now to Ben White. White looks up and still carrying it now is Ben White. Forward to Declan Rice. Rice now turns and plays it wider still to Zolis. Zolis goes charging towards the edge of the box here, does Christos Zolis. Now cuts inside. Still cutting inside. And still cutting inside. And then gives it across to White. Zolis has gone down here. It's now with Saka. Saka around the corner to Odegaard, who pulls it across. And Amenda puts that behind for a corner. Another corner on this near side for Arsenal as we are approaching the added time here. Zolis tried to cut across there. Still going. And gets blocked off by Urenchi in the middle of the park. But it's going to be a corner on this near side. And we will get added time confirmed to us in just a moment here as we've hit the 45 minutes. It's going to be 2 minutes of added time at the end of this first half. Saka gets ready to put this corner in just a second here and plays it back to Odegaard. Odegaard now to Saka again. Saka goes back to Ødegaard. Ødegaard now hits a shot. It's blocked there by, I think that was off Calafiori. Let's have a look. Saka again played it back to Ødegaard, and the shot actually probably came for Coventry guy on this near side. So another corner to be taken by Saka. In a second here, Bukayo Saka. Plays it back now to Ødegaard. Ødegaard now to Saka again. Pulls it back now to Declan Rice. Declan Rice hits the shot just wide of the target there from Declan Rice. He tried to bend it towards that far top corner. Got too much on it. Not enough curl. And in the end, that's another shot wasted there from Declan Rice. I think he had to try it, but there just wasn't enough bend on that and too much power in the end for the Englishman. And it still remains Arsenal 2, Coventry 0 as we are approaching half time here. About 30 seconds to go. I shall take a break at half time and shall be back for the second half. In as Carl Rush's cleared this one long upfield, and Havertz wins it back there. Bounces to Bobby Thomas, and then goes back to Rushworth. Rushworth now clears this one long out towards De Silva. De Silva plays it back now to Van Dijk. Ødegaard clears it over the top, looking towards Havertz, and the flag's gone up there for, I believe it's probably going to be offside. But that's it. That's half time. That's all we have for you in this first half, as it is going to go in at the break. Arsenal 2, Coventry 0 at the break. I shall leave you with the score on the screen in just a moment, with the goal scorers as well. Half time. The good goals there from Kai Havertz and Bukayo Saka see us at the break. Arsenal 2, Coventry 0. I shall see everybody for the second half in just under 15 minutes' time. Come on, Coventry, get some points on the board. Well, we'll have to see about that one, strong woman. We'll have to see if they can get back into this one. But for now, it is Arsenal 2, Coventry 0. And I'll see you for the second half in just under 15 minutes' time. Until then, I shall be back.